They say the history of mankind is a history of war. Over the years, that history has grown. We started with swords and spears. We upgraded to muskets and cannons. And now we have missiles and bombs. Yet one thing has not changed, and that is the role of oil. Oil is a strange commodity, you see. You fight for oil, and you fight using oil. And this standoff in Ukraine is no different. Oil is a deciding factor for Russia too. And I will tell you how. Russia produces 10% of the world's oil. It makes up 25% of their export revenue. So if oil is more expensive, it's good news for Russia. It means more money for them. But for the US, it means the opposite. The United States is the largest consumer of crude oil. And if oil is more expensive, it means higher inflation for the United States of America. Here's something else that you must know. Oil is very sensitive. It hates uncertainty. So the crisis in Ukraine is driving up prices of oil. If war breaks out, oil could cross $100 a barrel. America wants to stop that. What's their strategy? To ask Saudi Arabia for help. They want Riyadh to produce more oil. It's really simple economics. More supply equals low prices. Right now, Saudi Arabia is producing 10 million barrels per day. Their maximum capacity is 12 million barrels per day. If Saudi Arabia agrees to increase production, oil will stabilize. And that's what Joe Biden is trying to do. He spoke to Saudi Arabia's King Salman. He did that last week. On Wednesday, he sent White House officials to Riyadh. Still no luck. Saudi Arabia is sticking to its OPEC plus commitments. Who does that commitment benefit? Russia. Moscow is part of the OPEC plus cartel. Together, they decided to limit oil production to drive up prices, and Riyadh is not willing to change that policy, not even for the United States of America. What explains this snub? Well, we can think of two reasons. Reason number one, Joe Biden's cold shoulder to Saudi Arabia. He's refused to meet Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. He pulled out of the war in Yemen, and he declassified documents linking Saudi Arabia to 9/11. Saudi officials to 9/11. This is Riyadh's chance to get even with them. Reason number two, practical considerations. Higher oil prices don't just benefit Russia, they benefit Saudi Arabia too. If Russia's pullback is genuine, oil will stabilize anyway. Saudi Arabia will not have to increase output, which brings us to the bigger question. Is Russia's pullback genuine? What's next in this months-long standoff? Things may cool down for now, but it won't be permanent. This is a simple case of impossible demands. What Putin wants, NATO cannot give. What NATO wants, Putin cannot accept. And neither side is famous for concessions. So how will this conflict play out? For now, it seems that Russia has ruled out invasion. Their economy cannot bankroll it. Their military would suffer huge losses. So chances are Putin will opt for a safer option. Maybe spike the insurgency in Donbass or cripple Ukrainian cybersecurity. And NATO will not mind any of that. For them, avoiding war is priority number one. Anything below a full-blown conflict is a win for them. And they can go back to focusing on the Indo-Pacific or the Iran nuclear deal. It may sound like an attractive prospect, but it will not work in the long run. You see, conflicts have to be resolved, not ignored. If you put them on a back burner, they will fester. And we have multiple examples. The Korean War, for instance, there was a ceasefire, but there was no resolution. And the result is this. Today, we are dealing with a rogue nuclear state. Another example is Vietnam. Again, they had a ceasefire, but no resolution. A couple of years later, a war did break out there. Even in Donbass, in 2014, the Minsk Accord was signed. Again, it was a ceasefire, not a resolution. 8 years later, we are on the brink of war. So I'm going to repeat a cliche now. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. That's what America and Russia are doing as we speak, repeating the same mistakes. Ceasefires and stalemates are not the same as resolutions. Even if Russia retreats this time, the conflict will not end. It will only be delayed. And this delay could be used for mobilization. What kind of mobilization? More defense spending, more weapons, more allies. Maybe next time Russia and China will synchronize their attack. Putin targets Ukraine, Xi Jinping targets Taiwan. All of this remains very much possible. You see, peace is not the absence of war. It is the pursuit of progress. And Ukraine has a long way to go there. They have to tackle corruption, contain the oligarchs, fight the insurgency. And to do all of this, they need security. You cannot fight a war and achieve progress at the same time. For the moment, this is Ukraine's future. No war, but no peace either. If world powers are serious about resolving this crisis, they need to accept concessions and put their ego aside for once. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.